Hello, all of you. This is Shankar Reddy, lecturer in political science, Government Junior College, Maradpalli, Secunderabad. Today, we are going to discuss about second year civics. You know very well, the second year civics is the most important in all the competitive examinations. That's why we are going to discuss both the concepts as well as factual information. Today I am going to start with the first unit, that was Indian Constitution Historical Context. In this, already we completed causes for the birth of Indian national movement. Here, the next concept is that phases of Indian national movement. You know very well, the Constitution of India developed in the Indian national movement. That means the development of the Indian Constitution laid down in the Indian national movement. The Indian national movement belonging to the 1885 to 1947 according to the R.C. Majumdar. This entire period is considered as Indian national movement. This entire Indian national movement period classified into three different phases. What are they? Moderate phase, extremist phase, Gandhian phase. There are three phases are there in Indian national movement. One is moderate phase. This moderate phase belonging to the period of 1885 to 1905. Then the extremist phase 1905 to 1920. The last phase is that Gandhian phase 1920 to 1947. That means from the establishment of Indian National Congress till the India attainment of independence, entire period is considered as national movement based on their ideology, based on the methods they adapted. We classified into three different phases. Let us start with the moderate phase. So moderate phase belonging to the 1885 to 1905. That means moderate phase started in the year 1885 with the establishment of Indian National Congress and continued up to 1905 Swadeshi movement. Okay, so this phase is the first phase of Indian national movement. This phase is also considered as reforms era. What is the other name of moderate phase? Reforms era. So in this phase, the moderate leaders who are Dadabhai Nauroji, who are the famous moderate leaders, Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopalakrishna Gokhale, Umesh Chandra Banerjee, W.C. Banerjee, Firoz Shah Mehta, they are the popular leaders belonging to the moderate phase. They adapted different ideology. You know, if you observe the background of the leaders of moderate, like Dadabhai Nauroji, the grand old man of India, and Gopalakrishna Gokhale, Umesh Chandra Banerjee, Firoz Shah Mehta, they came from English education background. They came from upper middle class background. That's why, you know, one more thing, one common thing is that they all are coming from the English education background. They studied in England. That's why they always faith on, that means they have complete faith in the British liberal policies, and also they extended their cooperation to the Britishers because they never against the British ideology, British policies. They have trust on British ideologies, British customs, British tradition. That's why they have faith on the Britishers always. That's why they never against the British colonial rule. They always requesting the Britishers only. They never make revolt against the Britishers. That's why they are considered as moderate leaders. Moderate phase. That phase is considered as moderate phase based on their ideology. What is the ideology of moderate phase? They adopted complete faith on British liberal policies. At the same time, they extended their cooperation to the Britishers. And this phase is also called as reforms era. Methods of moderate. The moderate leaders adopted three different methods. That means they adopted 3P formula. 3P formula. So one P is that prayer, another one is that protest, and finally petition. What are the methods of moderate? They adopted three different methods such as prayers, protest, petition. Prayers, protest, petition. In this, we observe they never adopted non-violent, they never adopted violent methods. They all are considered as non-violent methods only. That means because of these methods, they never harm to the Britishers. So that's why their ideology is nothing but moderate ideology. They adopted prayers, protest, and petition for getting their benefits, for getting their demands. They adopted these methods: prayer, protest, and petition. So here they have some different demands. That means they always requested to the Britishers only. They never revolt against the Britishers. They asked to reform in Indian society, nothing but executive, legislative, judicial reforms they expected from the Britishers side. They asked some of the reforms here. Firstly, reforms in legislative council. So moderate leaders requested to the Britishers to reforms in legislative council. That means increasement of the numbers in the legislative council. That means increasement of the participation of the Indians in legislative councils. This is the first request, first demand of the moderate leaders. Then entry of Indians in administrative services. So they requested to the Britishers for entry of Indians in the administrative services like ICS, Indian Civil Services. So collector system, you know that. In that they requested to entry of Indians, allow the Indians in ICS or administrative side. This is also one of the demand by the moderate leaders. And then they requested to the Britishers to separate judiciary from the executive. That means their demand is that separation of judiciary from the executive, because before that moderate phase, what was happening in British ruling, the judiciary executive is living together. That means there is no separation between the legislature and judiciary. If the legislature and executive and the judiciary in executive, if the executive and the judiciary enjoyed by one person, one common person enjoyed the judiciary powers as well as the executive powers, that person became dictator. So that was happened at the time of moderates. That's why they requested to separate judiciary, because judiciary is the organ which protect the individual life, so which is must separated from the executive. That's why they demanded judiciary must be separated from executive. At the same time, reduction of military expenditure. You know that the income of the Britishers, 90 percentage came from the Indian side only. That means taxes which are paid by the Indians only, they enjoyed the, what about salaries and the military expenditure, everything. That's why if they expended a lot of the Indian money for the military expenditure, so unable to they expend for the welfare schemes of the Indians. That's why they requested to Britishers to reduce military expenditure. Military expenditure. This is also one of the demands by moderate leaders. So they are considered as demands of moderate leaders. Already we discussed ideology of moderate leaders and methods adopted by moderate leaders and the demands of moderate leaders, a moderate phase. So then after the demands, what type of achievements they achieved? So let's try to understand achievements of the moderate leaders. So what are the achievements of moderate phase? So out of the demands, some demands are accepted and implemented by the British government by the Indian Council Act 1892, by the Government of India Act 1909. So the two acts are formulated by the Britishers for satisfying the moderate leaders. For fulfilling the moderates' demands, they adopted Indian Council Act 1892 and then Government of India Act 1909. By these acts, they increased legislative members. For example, if you take by the 1909 Act, they increased legislative council member from 16 to 60. 16 to 60. So this was the change by the Government of India Act 1909. This was the big achievement of the moderate leaders. At the same time, Indian Council, they introduced first time elections allowed to the Indians in executive, allowed to the Indians in administrative services also based on the Indian Council Act 1909 Indian Government Act. So these are considered as achievements of moderate leaders. At the same time, the moderate leaders criticized a lot. So because one community of the Indian National Congress, one community of moderate leaders, that means particularly the younger community of the moderate leaders vehemently criticized the ideology, the methods of moderates. That's why they are separated from moderate leaders and they are called as extremist leaders, extremist phase. You know very well. So, because of the moderate methodology, because of the moderate ideology, they separated from the moderate leaders and formulated different ideologies such as boycott ideologies. Later, we will discuss in extremist phase. That's why what is my intention here? With the moderate methods and the moderate ideology, they criticized a lot. So that's why moderate leaders are criticized. Then also they achieved something in the Indian national movement. So this is about moderate phase. In this moderate phase, moderates did not adopt any movement. That means they led any movement against the Britishers. That's why we never found any movement in the moderate phase. After the moderate phase, we have Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation movement in extremist phase. At the same time, the second phase is that extremist phase. After moderate phase, the extremist leaders who are fed up with the moderate ideology, they separated from the moderate and they separated from the moderate ideology and formulated their own phase, their own ideology in the period of 1905 1920. Who are the extremist leaders? The extremist leaders also one community of the moderate leaders, but they fed up with the moderate ideology. They are favorism against the Britishers. They never against the Britishers. They always faith on Britishers. That's why they are separated from the moderate leaders and formulated different ideology. That's why they are considered as extremist leaders. The extremist phase is the second phase of Indian national movement. This phase belonging to the period of 1905 to 1920. That means with the incident of Bengal division, with the incident of Swadeshi movement, this phase was started and continued up to 1920, up to the non-cooperation movement in Gandhian phase. And how the extremist phase was originated, what are the reasons behind that? There are different factors favored to formulate, to establish extremist phase in the world at the time. So what was the happened? In the year 1898-1900, so many famines place in Indian society. So due to the famines, Indian economy system was totally fall down. That's why the moderate leaders are not against regarding to the Indian economy. They never against the economic drain. Of course, Dadabhai Nauroji fought against the Britishers. They introduced drain theory, whereas here extremist leaders are different. They directly fight with the Britishers. They are ready to fight with the Britishers in their extremist ways. That's why they against extremist, they against Britishers and formulated extremist phase. And moreover, in the year 1904, one incident was happened in the world history. That was one small country, Japan. Small country Japan defeated Russia as big country. World largest country Russia was defeated by Japan in the year 1904. This was the inspirational event of the extremist leaders. Okay, that's why this is also one of the factor to rise extremism in Indian national movement. And finally, in the year 1905, one incident was happened in the Indian history, that was partition of Bengal or Bengal division. So Bengal division by Lord Curzon, you know very well, Lord Curzon divided Bengal into the East Bengal, West Bengal. This was not against by the moderate leaders. That means moderate leaders never against the Bengal division, because their ideology is that they have faith on the Britishers. They never against the Britishers. Whereas because of the Bengal division, it is the divide and rule policy by the Britishers. That's why they against and separated from the moderate leaders and formulated Swadeshi movement and Vande Mataram movement in the year 1905. Later we will discuss in the important movements of Indian national movement. So these are the reasons, these are the causes to rise extremism in the Indian national movement. So extremist phase originated after the moderate phase due to these reasons. And who are the eminent leaders in extremist phase? Lala Lajpati Rai. Lala Lajpati Rai was a famous extremist leader, and the Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandrapal. Lala Lajpati Rai, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandrapal. Along with Lala Lajpati Rai, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandrapal, Aurobindo Ghosh also treated as extremist leaders. So these extremist leaders are popularly known as Lal, Bal, Pal. Extremist leaders are popularly known as Lal, Bal, Pal. Lal means Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Pal, Bipin Chandrapal, plus Aurobindo Ghosh. Aurobindo Ghosh, they are the leaders of extremist phase. You know very well, Lala Lajpat Rai is popularly known as Punjab Kesari. Who is called as Punjab Kesari? Lala Lajpat Rai is called as Punjab Kesari. And he wrote Unhappy India. Unhappy India. The book of Lala Lajpat Rai is Unhappy India. And the Balagangadhar Tilak, the famous extremist leader, he was the father of Indian unrest. He is the father of Indian unrest. His title is that Lokamanya. You know, Lokamanya Balagangadhar Tilak. Lokamanya is the title of Balagangadhar Tilak. And also one more title is there, that was father of Indian unrest. Father of Indian unrest. Because Valentin Cherol considered Balagangadhar Tilak as father of Indian unrest. So here Balagangadhar Tilak gave the very popular slogan while Swadeshi movement is going on. So what is that slogan? That was Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. What is that? Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. Swaraj means self-rule. Self-rule, home rule is my birth. It is my birthright. The right which is comes from the by the birth. That was Swaraj is my birthright. I shall have it. I shall do it. I shall have it. This was a great slogan, inspirational slogan given by Balagangadhar Tilak. He was from Bombay, Maharashtra. Lala Lajpat Rai comes from Punjab. That's why he was considered as Punjab Keshari. And moreover, Balagangadhar Tilak, very popular papers, that Kesari Maratha paper. That means Kesari is the English paper. Kesari is the Maratha paper, and Maratha is the English paper. He run that paper. That is why he was the he published the Kesari paper and Maratha paper in different languages. And Bipin Chandrapal. Bipin Chandrapal, he came from Bengal. He was also one of the famous extremist leaders. He was the good orator. He traveled throughout India during the period of Swadeshi movement for spreading nationalistic feeling among the Indians. And moreover, Aurobindo Ghosh. Aurobindo Ghosh also considered as one of the extremist leaders. So this is about extremist leaders. They adopted different methods. Let us try to understand methods of extremist leaders. Let us try to understand methods of extremist or extremist phase. The extremist leaders adopted different methods which consist boycott methods and Swadeshi methods. Let us try to understand what are the methods of extremist leaders. Boycott of British goods, and instead of the British goods and services, they encouraged utilizing the domestic goods. That means firstly, they focused on boycott foreign goods, British goods and services. Instead of that, we filled with domestic goods and services. This is the very important method adopted by the extremist leaders. Then, boycott of honorary titles. The titles which are given by the Britishers, that should be boycott. This is also one method adopted by extremist leaders. And also boycott the government offices like legislative office, executive, judiciary. This is also undercomes methods adopted by extremist leaders. And practicing passive resistance. Practicing passive resistance also considered as one of the methods of extremist leaders, because they they fed up with moderate leaders because of this purpose only, because moderate leaders never formulate resistance movement against the Britishers. That's why extremist leaders focused on passive resistance movement against the Britishers. Then they organizing festivals. They organized festivals for what purpose? Mobilizing the people and promotion of the idea of self-rule. So extremist leaders adopted festival method. That means they organizing the festivals for mobilizing the people, at the same time promote the idea of self-rule. For example, at the time of festivals, the people are gathered at a single place. At the time they gave lots of slogans, the ideas of self-rule. So that's why they encouraged festivals, they used festivals as common platform for mobilizing the people and spreading the idea of self-rule. This is also one of the method adopted by extremist leaders. And also they adopted continuous struggle. Continuous struggle against the our common enemy Britishers. This is also one method adopted by extremist leaders. You know very well, Swadeshi movement, nothing but Vande Mataram movement they adopted, home rule movement they adopted in this period. We will discuss later on. And also they encouraged native education, Swadeshi education. So these are considered as methods of extremist leaders. What are the methods of extremist leaders? Basically, their methods are classified into two types: boycott methods and Swadeshi method. Boycott methods are nothing but the methods which are boycott the foreign goods, foreign services, foreign titles, and also foreign government offices. At the same time, instead of that, they adopted Swadeshi movement, nothing but Swadeshi methods. So, what are the Swadeshi methods? The goods which are fulfilled by the domestic goods, domestic services. Instead of the government offices of British, they established Indian offices, Indian stores, and also they encouraged Indian education system. So these are considered as methods of extremists. Let us try to understand the demands of extremist leaders. Here they have different demands. That was reunification of Bengal. You know very well, Bengal was divided in the year 1905 by Lord Curzon. This is the major demand of the extremist leaders. And then self-rule. So they two are the demands of extremist leaders. Then in this period, they led two different movements. They are Swadeshi movement in the year 1905 and Home Rule movement in the year 1916. And then they adopted, later we will discuss about the movements in the movements topic. Here the achievements, they achieved Bengal reunification. The major demand is that Bengal division. They achieved their demand in the year 1911. In the year 1911, Bengal was reunified by Lord Hardinge II. Lord Hardinge reunified the Bengal, East Bengal, West Bengal. Again unified, then they called as Bengal. Then their second achievement is that Government of India Act 1919. By this act, the Britishers introduced responsible form of government at provincial level. This is also one achievement regarding to the self-rule. Against the Bengal division, they led the Swadeshi movement. For the self-rule, they led Home Rule movement. They too are achieved the extremist leaders based on their methods adopted by extremist leaders. So then they also criticized a lot. The extremist leaders also criticized a lot. That's why later on next Gandhian phase was originated. So this is about moderate phase and extremist phase. In the moderate phase, the moderates are always keep on faith against the Britishers. In extremist phase, they always revolt against they led the movements against the Britishers. This is the simple difference between the moderate leaders and extremist leaders.